So these are my little Lego people. Which one of these guys has the most effect on public health? So I'll just speed things up by telling you. It's not this one. The doctor is treating the problem, the symptom. The ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. It's not. Did you realise that's an architect? I had to Photoshop the glasses and the black turtleneck. There isn't a Lego architect, but it's not this guy. Remember I said they only design 5% of homes anyway. It's this lady here, the politically correct female construction worker. So what we're building is really affecting our health. So these stats here, we all lived in healthy homes, more productivity, kids are off school, parents are off work, if they're sick. I already said 30% less hospital admissions if we all lived in healthy homes. And we'd be happier, healthier, more disposable income, we'd live longer. Okay, so we build big houses in New Zealand, second biggest houses in the world. The rest of the world is trending downwards, and they're thinking about being more efficient with space and thinking about building what they need, not what the real estate agent says they need. You don't need 4 bedrooms for the next person if there's only 2 required. Just because the real estate agent says that's what you need to build. So we're still one of the few countries that are going this way, trending upwards. We build massive houses. We're bigger than America, we're out here. The other alarming statistic about New Zealand houses is we're really, really getting screwed with the cost. We're getting a bad deal all around. So we're the second most expensive place in the world to build a house. Netherlands is number 1, but I'm pretty sure they're building 8, 9, 10-star houses. We're building 3-star houses. So this is why we need to change, and this is why we think the superhome movement is important. So this is a still image, but the idea here is that we're planning to turn this into an interactive infographic. So. And I'm calling it a dashboard, affordability dashboard. So this is a slice through the 2-story house. So you can click on whatever rating, it'll tell you all the good things you need to do, and it'll tell you the energy performance, carbon footprint, what your power bill is, what the cost to build a house is, and the last piece of the puzzle is what's the cost of it, what's the value of the property. So in these little efficient houses in Church Square in Addington, they're 10 stars, but it'll be Addington's not an expensive neighbourhood. It'll be different. The value of the house will be different if it was a house in Fendleton. But yeah, so we've got a little in our dashboard here, just down the bottom. You can't really see it, just believe me. There's a mortgage calculator. So what would happen if you did get to say an 8-star house, you had no power bill, and you took what you'd normally spend on your power and you put it back on your mortgage, as long as you did that and you didn't go down to the pub instead. So that could have a dramatic effect on the term of the loan. It might take it from 25 years to 15, and it might save you $100,000 odd in interest. And so not only will you be a lot better off, you'll also have a more desirable, more delightful, more comfortable, healthy place to live. So this is a social housing project, and this is kind of a demonstration of affordability and high performance. So after the earthquake, Sarah and Christchurch City Council created a thing called Exemplar Projects, and this is the first one. So they saw what we were doing with the superhome movement and with the 10-star homes, and they asked me to be an advisor for sustainability and their social housing. And I appraised an existing concept, and it was not, it was poor in terms of performance. So they have a minimum, they're showing a bit of vision and a bit of leadership. They have a minimum standard for their own social housing of 6 stars. So it had to be 6 stars. I'm a home star assessor. I assessed it, and probably 90% of it was 3 stars. So it had already been designed. So they said, okay, we can just put that to one side, get you to redesign it. That's what we've done. So we've redesigned, there's 39 homes on an infill site. Some really tight, difficult constraints to work around, like this large existing trees that had to remain, and an existing street that had to remain. But we took what was pretty much all terraced housing with no sun access, kind of party walls, north facing, blocking the sun. And we basically blew it apart, and we've still got multi-unit at the back, but completely north facing. And then we've got 4 courtyard mews developments here where we've got more, a lot more sunlight coming into the homes, and so a lot more desirable and a lot more energy efficient. Every house gets all day sun, and almost every room. So it worked really well, and there's this open space here which is used for stormwater retention, but is also a space where kids can pick a ball and that sort of thing. So we couldn't help ourselves. That's a drawing of the 10-star home. We took one of the 10-star homes and we stuck it in there, but it's a 6. We curtailed the design to a 6. So there's actually 2. There's a standalone one, and then where we had this big tree where there's going to be a big section, and then there's one on the end of the block of 10 multi-units. So we're talking about now doing a super home village in a new subdivision that has 1,500 houses in Christchurch. And these are some of the design typologies. So they can be quite sort of Cantabrian with pitched roofs, or they can be ultra modern. You're not sort of constrained by what the house looks like if it's an energy efficient house. So this house here is on a tiny section. It's 278 square metres, and there's still plenty of space, and it's east-west facing, so we can get good sun into every single room, and then we can trap it in there by having thicker insulation, thicker walls, better windows, and that sort of thing. So we need more houses like this, but we need our subdivisions to be designed properly. So a lot of existing subdivisions, the sections are north-south facing, so you end up with a small section of north facing, and if the road's on that side, then you end up with a double garage there, blocking the sun to the house. So we need to do a better job of designing our subdivisions for houses, instead of carving up the land and then not worrying about what the house is going to be like that's on the subdivision. So that's a plan of that house there. So it's quite multifunctional, so we're making use of all the space. So this is a plan of the 2-storey 10-star home. So it's probably a little bit hard to see on this projector, but the living space is good size. There's also a really good sized kitchen for a small house. It's 70 square metres with slightly less than 70 above, so it's just under 140 square metres. So we intentionally left out the ubiquitous island bench, and we replaced it with a dining table. So there's plenty of bench space around the outside, loads, and then we had a walk-in pantry that had bench space as well. So by getting rid of the island bench and putting the dining table in the kitchen, we save a whole other room space, and we have more space in the living area. And then upstairs, there's no passage, by the way. Just the stair divides it. There's a laundry toilet in there and a back door that goes through to a carport instead of a garage. Upstairs, there's kind of a home office space for a computer desk or whatever you choose there. And then 3 bedrooms and 2 good-sized bathrooms. So we're trying to use every inch of space. We're not. We get rid of waste space. Then we can focus on quality, not quantity. Instead of building a big dumb house, we're building a clever, simple, smaller house. So this house here, there's a solar wall. So this is a black aluminium cladding product, UltraClad, and this wall acts as a solar collector. So basically in New Zealand we need a cavity. The purpose for the cavity is drainage and ventilation, because we're paranoid about leaky homes, and we're scared that the building's not going to be designed and built well enough, so we put a cavity in there for drainage. So in this house, every house needs that. So in this house, we're using that cavity that's there anyway, but for a different purpose. So we're drawing warm air through there. So on a frosty morning, when it's 0 degrees outside, a little bit of sun on that black aluminium, we can drag in at the top 27 degrees pre-warmed fresh air into the house, and that gets fed into our energy recovery ventilation system, which is continually extracting the stale damp air from the bathrooms, toilet, kitchen, and supplying fresh pre-warmed air to the living spaces and the bedrooms. So that's the living space. There's a sound attenuation jib, which, you know, with hard flooring, it helps to deaden the sound and make it less noisy, which is good. Because we've got dark tiles on the floor, so we're absorbing the solar gain into the slab and using the slab as a battery for the thermal mass of the concrete. And the timber, not quite as good, but it still works and is better than carpet. So this is the other side of the house, and there's a carport here. There's a big overhang on the roof, so you know we've got a metre overhang there. And then if you go back to this one here, we've got the windows recessed on the north. So, you know, this photo here was taken mid-winter, so the sun's penetrating in, the sun angle's lower in winter. Midsummer, middle of the day, the sun doesn't actually touch that glass because we've got that recess there. So, and then we're inviting the sun in the morning on the east side. So, afternoon, there's no sun on the other side. So, really important, the size proportion of the windows, but also shading, so you don't get overheating. It is relatively easy to make a warm, energy efficient house. We think it is anyway, even though it's not being done. It is actually more difficult to stop it from overheating. So you've got to think about both, even in Dunedin.